You're watching Any Given Thursday NBA Now edition. Harrison Graham and Chase Sr. here from Chat Sports. Lots of news, rumors to dissect, around a lot of big names here, Chase. None bigger than Kevin Durant, who returns to the lineup tonight, and the Nets need him desperately as they've been struggling for the past month and a half.
Yeah, working off that, he comes back for the Nets at the right time because the Nets over the last couple of months have not been playing a clean brand of basketball, and you'd like to see what the Brooklyn Nets are at full strength with Kevin Durant now back in the lineup. But as we're about to talk about in a few minutes, we don't know what's going on with Ben Simmons, if he's going to come back, and if he does, when he's going to come back, if he's going to come back at all. But to get Kevin Durant back for Brooklyn, a massive reinforcement. Prior to his injury, you can make the argument he was the best player in the NBA. I think he's the most deadly offensive player when he is upright and healthy. And before he got injured, he was playing fantastic basketball prior to missing the past month with that knee injury. 29-plus points per game, 7.5 rebounds, a little less than 6 dimes. And KD, with volume, has always been one of the most efficient offensive players in the league. And I can't wait to see what Brooklyn is able to do with him at full strength. And if Ben Simmons is another addition to the Nets, it makes them really interesting in the East, because I actually think Ben Simmons on that roster is a very good fit because he's an elite defender, very good passer. And even if he doesn't want to shoot the basketball, he doesn't have to on that team with Kyrie Irving and KD.
And yeah, we'll certainly get you guys caught up on what's going on with Simmons specifically here in just a few moments. Here's what KD had to say about re-entering the lineup for Brooklyn. Quote, "I don't look at myself as a savior, but I know what I can do and how much I can help this team and what we're missing as a group. But I'm not saying to go out there and win a game by myself tonight or make it all about me. I just try to go out there, help be a good teammate, do what I do. I know what I bring to the table and try to do it to the best of my abilities."
Yeah, and KD coming back to the Nets makes the Eastern Conference even crazier, Harrison, than it already is. I mean, there is not a large gap between the top team in the East and some of the teams that are even in the play-in tournament. And when you look at the Eastern Conference and you gander at the standings, I'm not sure who's going to come out of the East. I like the Miami Heat. I like the Milwaukee Bucks. Really love the Philadelphia 76ers with the addition of James Harden, because that two-man game with Joel Embiid has been dominant. And then Tyrese Maxey has been a fantastic third component, but they have some flaws with some of their depth issues. And then the Boston Celtics, the Cleveland Cavaliers. There are a bunch of teams in the thick of the race in the East, and KD, him coming back makes the Nets very, very fascinating, because if he's right, if he is the normal KD, MVP type KD, they can win the NBA Finals. That's how good he is.
Yeah, and if Kyrie gets to the point where he can be a full-time player, obviously that stuff is still playing itself out. It doesn't really matter what seed Brooklyn is. Like, as long as they're in the playoffs, they're going to be a threat to win the Eastern Conference. So we'll ask you guys, are the Nets the favorites to win the East with Kevin Durant back? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Get your votes in down in the comment section. Now, big announcement here from Chat Sports, NBA Now by Chat Sports, and several of our other channels as well. You can now watch us over on Rumble. All of our NBA content, news, rumors, potentially some exclusive content in the future as well. You can watch me, Chase Sr. as well, other hosts here at Chat Sports. The link is below, rumble.com/NBA Now. Chase, Rumble, another video platform site, uncensored. You can kind of, get a little bit edgier if you want as well. If you're into news and politics, other commentary you can find there also. But from us specifically, more the same, more NBA news and rumors coverage.
Yeah, here at Chat Sports as a company, we have versatility to our game, right? We cover news, rumors in an entertaining, informative, fun way. We can be serious. We can also have fun. We also have versatility with our platforms, right? Not everybody takes in and absorbs their content on YouTube, so this is yet another way for you to watch us at Chat Sports. You can watch us on Rumble, and if you're like me, I hate cancel culture, and sometimes these other platforms, they like cancel culture. Rumble does not.
Rumble.com/NBA Now. Link in the comments and in the description. Let's get into the latest on Ben Simmons as we move along here in connection to the Nets, of course. A report dropping earlier this week on Wednesday that appears to have had some kind of setback with his back injury. It's kind of hard to tell what's going on with Simmons. Obviously, he has not played this year. It's unclear how much he was working out before the trade went down, as he was obviously not going to play for Philadelphia before that happened. A couple of things are clear. One, he's not going to play in the return we've been waiting for against Philadelphia in Philly on March 10th. That will not happen. And also, he may not play for the entire month of March, which brings us to the question, Chase. Is he going to return at all this year? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And for that reason, and the fact that the Sixers are humming right now, James Harden looks to be his old MVP self. Him alongside Embiid and Maxey, as we talked about, looks to be a really dynamic trio in the Eastern Conference and one of the best threesomes across the entire NBA. And the fact that the Sixers are yielding immediate results from James Harden, and then up I-95 in Brooklyn, the Nets have yet to see Ben Simmons take the floor, and there are legitimate questions as to whether or not he's going to play all year, leads me to say that the Sixers won the trade. First of all, they got the better player. They didn't give up Tyrese Maxey or Matisse Thybulle, who were two young building blocks on this Philadelphia roster. And if Brooklyn doesn't have Ben Simmons, their potential is somewhat limited, where I think the Sixers' potential with James Harden is limitless.
Yeah, and look, I mean, time will tell how this trade ends up playing out. But in the short term, there's no doubt who won the trade. And especially for Brooklyn, let's just say they don't have Simmons this year. When KD and Kyrie signed to play with the Nets, this was hey, let's win as many titles as we can in a 3 to 5 year period. Well, if it doesn't happen this year, which it's that much harder without Simmons because you lost Harden already in the trade, it's going to be hard to pull that off. Now, could it still happen if KD and Kyrie are healthy? Absolutely. They could carry this team to a championship, but having Ben Simmons obviously would help. Here's what I'll say, though, about the back injury, because there's a lot of speculation. Does he just not want to play yet? He was... all the mental stuff, mental health stuff he was claiming in Philadelphia, and it's unclear if that just went away after he got traded. I will say this, if he misses all of March, there probably is some sort of injury, which creates an even larger issue for Brooklyn. Like, okay, if he's already not played at all this year, now there's an actual issue physically with him. We know mentally it's been a challenging process for Simmons trying to, flush what happened in the playoffs last year and get over the Philadelphia stuff. Yeah, I would say so far there's no doubt who won the trade, and that was the Philadelphia 76ers, Chase.
Yeah, and look, you can't really compare the games of Ben Simmons and James Harden because they're two completely different players. I've said this, I think Ben Simmons is a really good addition to the Brooklyn Nets. I think he can be Kevin Durant's Draymond Green that he flourished with when he was playing for Golden State. Ben Simmons does a lot of the same things. He's the best defender in the NBA, in my opinion, and according to many people out there, because he can guard multiple positions. You can say what you want about him not being willing to shoot, but he's an elite passer. He can finish around the rim, and playing with KD and Kyrie puts him in a spot where he can be successful because the pressure is not on him like it was in Philadelphia, which he obviously cratered to.
Make sure you guys subscribe to us here at Chat Sports for the latest NBA news and rumors. As more Ben Simmons storylines and updates unfold, we will have you covered here at Chat Sports. Link is down below to stay up to date with everything we're doing here on this channel. All right, one more big superstar to go, and then we'll catch you guys up on this epic MVP race that we're witnessing. Zion Williamson. Maybe, just maybe, he has a chance to play this year, Chase. A report dropping yesterday that foot is improving and that he's going to slowly ramp up and do some basketball activities. Now, with only 22 games left, is he going to play this year? I don't really know, but, maybe he gets healthy by the end of this year, even if he doesn't play. Full healthy offseason reps with CJ McCollum in this new core. Maybe come next year, the Pelicans are a force in the West.
We could talk about Zion Williamson coming back this year. I don't believe he's coming back. And if I'm wrong, I'll certainly eat the crow. I don't think he's coming back for a couple of reasons. One, I don't think he's right. Two, that foot issue is still a serious problem. Three, I don't think the weight issues have gone away. And the Pelicans want to try to convince him to stay long-term in New Orleans because they went out, they made that trade for CJ McCollum, who's really been balling out since coming to the Big Easy. They have other good young pieces on that roster like Brandon Ingram as well as Devontae Graham. Jonas Valanciunas balled out against the Lakers the other night. Zion Williamson, when healthy, is a fabulous player. career stats of almost 26 points per game, 7 boards, shooting around 60% from the floor. But the Pelicans need him to be right for him to maximize his own abilities. And look, I know the Pelicans have been playing well. They are in the mix to make it into the NBA play-in tournament. That win over the weekend against the Lakers was really, really impressive. And for that, like, they're moving in the right direction. Shout out to Willie Green, first-year head coach, for really doing a terrific job coming over from the Phoenix Suns when he was an assistant under Monty Williams. He's a great head coach. They have some good young pieces moving forward, but as part of that core, they need Zion healthy, so I think they're going to err on the side of caution.
Look, if Zion can get healthy, maybe it doesn't equate to this year. I think this team can be scary, Chase.
I agree.
I really do. Like, we saw Zion last year, and there were real talks of, like, this is a top 10 player in the league already. I mean, he was unbelievable a year ago. You think about what he can bring to the table as just a dynamic athlete and a scorer, and a rebounder, an explosion, all that stuff. With CJ, one of the best isolation scorers in the NBA, and he's been showing that on a night-to-night basis with New Orleans already. You've got Brandon Ingram, who I think is one of the most underrated players in the league. I like Valanciunas. I like some of the bench pieces. Like, this team could do some real damage, but if Zion doesn't get healthy, it's kind of a moot point, because without Zion, you kind of have a bunch of B-level players, and you need that A-level guy, and that's what you were hoping for when you drafted Zion. When he's played, he's been that. The problem is, Chase, he's played 85 career games, and he's in year 3.
Yep, that's a problem.
That's a big problem. So, this is going to be a big offseason coming up for him. I'm not even really factoring this season in at this point. Maybe the Pelicans sneak in and he plays. Who knows? But moving forward is going to be the big question mark for New Orleans and what they want to do with him. We will ask you about this season. Will he play or will he not? Type P for play, type W for won't. Let us know what you guys think. Let's get you guys up on the MVP race across the NBA, Chase. It's getting spicy, man. I'm really liking the level of play we're seeing from some of these guys. And by the way, we're going to focus on 5 players. There's a few others like the Luka Doncic's of the world who just won Western Conference Player of the Month that could make a push as well. But what do you think about this race? And let's break down some of these guys.
I'm not factoring in recency bias here. I just think this is one of the best and closest NBA MVP races that we've seen in a little while. By the way, Luka Doncic, month of February, 35 points per game, 41% from 3, and about 45% from the field.
10 rebounds, 8 assists.
So he deserves to be in this conversation as well. And Jason Kidd deserves to be getting some NBA head coach of the year buzz. And if he continues to play like that, Mavs continue to win games, Luka can be among these 5 players. But right now, Joel Embiid is the leader. Nikola Jokic is right behind him at 3-1 odds. Giannis is sneakily having a fantastic year, right on par with his MVP prior seasons. And then Ja Morant, DeMar DeRozan have really climbed up the rankings the last couple of weeks. Last week we were saying they're not getting enough buzz. Now they finally are getting that respect because Ja and DeRozan, you take them away from their respective teams, they're not good basketball teams.
Yeah, DeRozan just won Player of the Month in the East as well. And a quick note on Giannis, by the way. He currently is on pace to have the highest player efficiency rating in NBA history.
It's crazy.
So, and he's not even the favorite right now. That's how good these guys are playing. We'll start with Embiid, the favorite right now. Just keeping this team afloat. And what did we say all years? Stay 500 until the All-Star break? Well, they were like 10, 11 games above. That's how good he was playing. Now you factor in Harden, what he's been able to do in that 2-man game. If Embiid stays healthy, going to be tough for him not to win it.
Yeah, and he's been actually better with James Harden, which can come as a surprise to some people because you're expecting Joel Embiid to maybe get less shot opportunities. He's actually gone to the free throw line more with James Harden, and his points per game is more as well. I think when you talk about Joel Embiid winning the NBA MVP, you think about all of the distractions that happen with the Ben Simmons situation. Ben Simmons is a second-team All-Pro. He's a first-team All-Defender. To not have him all year and for the Sixers at the All-Star break to be as good as they were, really, really impressive in a very good Eastern Conference. What Embiid does offensively, defensively, shooting with his array of moves and skills on the offensive end, he's just been masterful. And last year, he finished runner-up to the Joker in NBA MVP. Right now, he has the edge. Let's hope he can stay healthy.
And the Joker's been on a tear recently as well. He continues to improve as a rebounder specifically. I mean, 14 boards per game this year. He had a stat line recently, Chase, where he had 8 points but he had like 18 assists and like 16 rebounds or something like that. I mean, sometimes he's like, I don't feel like scoring tonight. I'll just drop 20 dimes on you. For a 7-footer, we've never seen it. There's a reason he won it last year. I thought it was garbage when Nick Wright said it was the worst MVP in the last 35
Historical
years.
Season.
He does things for his size we've literally never seen.
Yeah.
So
that pass the other night, dude.
Oh my God! He's standing like this in the post, like the high post on the right wing, and he throws like a two-seam, two-handed pass over a 6'8" guy in the corner. Of course, the three was missed, but it's one of the greatest passes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's elite, and he's right there in the mix, as is Giannis. I just mentioned, Chase, the player efficiency rating, and, I mean, not surprising, right? When you're averaging 30, 11, and 6, your PER is going to be very high.
And it's funny because I think people are overshadowing Giannis somehow because of the other masterful performances that we've seen in the NBA, maybe because he's coming off a season in which the Bucks won the NBA championship and the NBA Finals MVP for Giannis, and people have Giannis fatigue. I'm not sure, but this statistically has been one of the best years of his career. Now, maybe he's not getting that MVP love because the Bucks aren't a 1 or 2 seed in the Eastern Conference right now as of this recording, but Giannis has been absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And look, I think the people are sleeping on the Bucks in general. I mean, they won the freaking title last year, and people aren't even considering them as a potential favorite. Ja Morant, he's kind of NBA Twitter these days, Chase, Instagram, because of the highlight reels. And, you know, I've seen a lot of takes, some saying, you know, we've seen this before. I think Colin Cowherd said, this is Russell Westbrook. Like 5 years from now, we'll just be talking about,
D-Rose.
you know, is he the same guy? I don't view it that way, man. I think Ja Morant, sure, he's got that explosiveness to his game, but I don't see why there's any reason why this guy can't be a MVP type of player and a winning player for a very, very long time. The shot needs to continue to improve, but something he has that a guy like Russ doesn't have is I think his leadership and intangibles are off the charts. I think guys gravitate toward him. You saw the other night when he dropped 52, all his teammates are running and jumping to him at the end of that game, like, yo, that was badass, that type of thing. Like, Ja Morant is a leader, Chase. He's a great player. He's also only in year 3. He is a very young player still.
Grind City's been turning up at FedEx Forum.
It's going to be lit in the playoffs.
We've talked about this before, but like Ja for me is really one of one. He's a combination of 3 players. Kyrie Irving and his finishing ability around the rim. He has a little bit of Derrick Rose in him from an athletic standpoint, and then the same can be said for Russell Westbrook, but I think he's a better shooter than the latter two. Such a bright potential. Does he play with reckless abandon to a certain degree? Yes. Do you worry about him being as springy later on in his career, and can he be as effective? We'll see, but right now, in my opinion, my eyes, he's the most exciting player in the NBA.
Better decision maker than Russell Westbrook.
Yes, no question. Doesn't play that maddening style of basketball.
DeMar DeRozan, I mean, look, if you want to call it boring, if 28 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists on 52%, mostly in the mid-range is boring, and give me boring, because what this guy has done for Chicago this year, Chase, this team wasn't a playoff team a year ago. And they might win the East in the regular season. And by the way, that's with Alex Caruso, Lonzo Ball missing significant time, Patrick Williams being out all year, and Zach LaVine's not 100%. And the Bulls have come out and said he's not going to be 100%. Like, he probably needs a procedure after the season. So DeMar DeRozan is carrying the load in Chicago, and they're probably going to win 55 games out of an 82-game season, and they're going to have a chance in the playoffs. So what he's done for that team, by the way, in his early 30s, I mean, many people thought his best seasons were behind him. I mean, how many articles, Bleacher Report, all these places, worst contract of the offseason?
Well, yeah, $84 million, I think it was, during NBA free agency. That's a lot, but like, he has literally defied the odds. Nobody has had a career season this late in their career than DeMar DeRozan.
Not only was it a good contract, he's outperformed it.
Yeah,
That's how good he's been. So it's a fun race. It's exciting. I'm fascinated to see how it all plays out, as I'm sure all of you are as well. Who is the MVP this year? At least right now. This can certainly change as it's that close. Let us know. Chase and I will be reading your comments on this video.